the tennis ball, but the official ball is red colored. So just a brief history. I'm not going to drain the slide, but the earliest historical evidence in England dates back to 1550. The first reference to cricket being played abroad, the British were in Syria in 1676. It started in Cambridge University, so the university games, Cambridge versus Oxford, somewhere around the early 1700s. 1744 is when the first version of the laws of the game were written. The length of the pitch, and we'll talk about what the pitch means, is defined as 22 yards. This is still there today. So this hasn't changed over the last 300 years. The oldest available scorecards date back to 1776. That's when the first official century, which is the best landmark that a batsman can accomplish, is recorded. MCC, the Marylebone Cricket Club, is established in 1787. They are the most prestigious cricket club in the world till today. They are the custodians of the laws of the game. So cricket has a governing body like FIFA internationally, but they don't write the laws of the game. The laws of the game are written by MCC, and it's accepted by all cricket-playing nations across the world. Interestingly, the first official international match was between Canada and United States. Who would imagine that? The first test match, when we speak about what a test match means, takes place in 1877. Australia beats England by 45 runs. Very, very interesting piece of trivia. In 1977, they played another test match on the same date to commemorate 100 years of test cricket. Guess what the score was? Australia beat England by 45 runs. So, quirky fact of history. 1882, Australia defeats England again, and the English press went wild because England was the home of cricket, and they said the English cricket has died. Here's a cremation. The ashes will be buried in the English cricket grounds, and that's where the term ashes comes in. So if you're ever in Australia or England and they're playing, it's the Ashes. That's what the series is called. That's how the name came. The governing body got formed in 1909. It was the Imperial Cricket Conference. Imperial because it was mostly British colonies. Now it's called the International Cricket Council. 1932 is when India plays its first test match. The game went on to become really big in the country. 1948 is when the test matches became 5-day affairs. Can you imagine? They were playing for like 9 days before that, non-stop. People had so much time in those days. 1970 is when the spread was fairly wide. The official test playing nations included, as I said, a lot of colonies: Australia, England, South Africa, India, Pakistan, New Zealand, West Indies. South Africa got evicted because of the apartheid regime in 1970. One-day internationals transformed how cricket was played, and the viewership of the game helped them spread. So the first one was played in 1971. 1977, and Jeff will show you a video, that's when day-night games happened, floodlights came into being, colored clothing, all the fancy stuff. And 91 is when South Africa comes back with the end of apartheid. So what does a cricket field look like? Very different to what you might have seen a baseball field or any other field. So it's essentially either a circle or a long oval. This is like the external boundary. So think of this as like, this is where the field ends. This is the pitch. So we were talking about 22 yards. What you see here, it says striker and another non-striker. So these are the two batsmen. And we have a video on the rules of the game. But any point of time in cricket, there's one team that's batting, another team that's bowling. Very much like baseball. One team bats, the other team bowls. So there are two batsmen at a given point of time. So unlike baseball, two batsmen at a team. The objective is that you hit a ball and you basically run up and down the pitch. And if you run once, both of them reach the other side safely, it's one run. The team that makes the maximum number of runs wins. That's how simple it is. You have two umpires. One is here, who looks at the game from the bowler's point of view. You have an umpire who stands here. He's called the square umpire. Essentially, he's the guy who will adjudicate whether the batsman reached the crease safely before being run out, and we'll talk about that as well. What you see here in red are all the possible fielding positions in cricket. At any point of time, any team only has 11 players in the field. One guy is mandatorily the wicket keeper, so he's like the catcher in baseball. There's one person who's bowling, he's like the pitcher, but bowlers keep rotating. Any number of people can bowl. And then you have 9 people who can be spread across the field at any point of time. What you have here, right out here, these are like the safe fielding positions. So in cricket, if you hit a ball like a home run, it crosses the field without touching the ground, it's 6 runs. That's the highest scoring shot. If it goes to the boundary or umpire touching the turf, then it's 4 runs. So these are like the defensive positions at the perimeter, right? These are to stop the high-scoring shots. What you have here are a slightly more attacking positions. So this is for stopping batsmen running 1 or 2 runs. And then right here, very close to the batsman, are the really attacking positions. This is when you want to get the side out, get people out. You know, you get these attacking positions. Typically, what happens is early on in the game. I mean, if you're thinking of one-day cricket, it's like 50 overs. Typically, early on in the game, you'll have more people in the attacking positions, and then as the game goes on, you keep spreading the field out and try and save runs. This is in fact a picture that I took, and it kind of illustrates the fielding positions really nicely. This is the recently concluded final of the Cricket World Cup. Australia played New Zealand. This is the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and so this is the boundary, the perimeter here. So if you hit a ball, goes around the ground, crosses this fence, it's 4 runs. If it goes in the air, it's 6. And what you see here are all the 11 Australian fielders on the field. So these are the 2 New Zealand batsmen, the guy here, another guy here. Here's the pitch. This is the square umpire that we were talking about. This is the main umpire. Here's your bowler, the guy here. He's going to bowl. This guy is your wicket keeper, so he'll have gloves in his hands and pads. And here's the attacking fielders. These are what we call the slips. So if the batsman edges the ball, if they catch it, the batsman's out. These are your run-saving fielders, and you see the circle here. And there are some laws. It's a little complicated, but at any point of time, you need to have at least 4 people in this circle. So you can't have everybody just at the back and save runs, right? So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys here, and then these are the 3 guys in the deep. So there's 1 guy here, 1 guy here, and 2 of them. Anytime you're watching cricket in any cricket playing nation, just look out for this box. This box will kind of, it's like the score box. If you're watching an NFL game, you want to see how the game's going, just look out for this box. So it says New Zealand NZ, that's because New Zealand are batting. 0 for 0, this is before the first ball was bowled. So this represents wickets, this represents runs. And then overs, this is a one-day game, so they play for 50 overs. Each over is 6 balls. And so this is before the game starts, and it says New Zealand won the toss, so they have decided to bat first. Cricket generally begins with the toss of the coin. If you win the toss, it's the captain decides whether you want to bowl first or whether you want to bat first. And we have a short video to explain the rules in a slightly better way than what I did right now.